E se lavorassimo soltanto 4 giorni a settimana, mantenendo lo stesso stipendio, cosa succederebbe alla nostra economia? Sarebbe più prospera? Le imprese sarebbero più produttive? O sarebbe uno sfacelo totale? Lo scopriamo oggi in questa puntata di Pagine di Economia con questo volume, finalmente giovedì, 8 ragioni per scegliere la settimana corta di Pedro Gomes, Editori Laterza. Pedro Gomes è un economista di fama internazionale ed è a capo di diversi progetti sperimentali che propongono proprio questo modello attraverso una riorganizzazione aziendale, una riorganizzazione del nostro tempo, e secondo lui questo è il modello perfetto per rendere più sostenibile l'economia e il mondo del lavoro. L'intervista sarà svolta in inglese, però non preoccupatevi perché ci sono i sottotitoli. Quindi diamo subito il benvenuto a Pedro Gomes. Hi Pedro and welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
So this model for the week is a model that proposes a radical change. But in your opinion, why this is the perfect model to improve our economy and our society?
Well, so I think it's very important for people to think above all the changes that have happened in the last 30 or 40 years. So all the changes in technology, in the speed of communication with the internet, in the types of jobs that we do, but also demographics. We live 10 more years than 30 years ago, and the role of women in society with the increasing participation of women. So when we look back in the last 30, 40, 50 years, everything has changed. And the types of work we do changed, but we still organized work in the same way. So my view of the 4-day week, it's not that we should work less to be happy, although that would happen, we would be happy, but it's not that. It's because of all these structural changes that really affected our relation with work, that altered completely our relation with work, that call for a 4-day week. So I think a 4-day week is a better way to organize economic activity in the 21st century, because the economic activity in the 21st century is very different from what it was 50 or 80 years ago.
And a crucial role is played by the technologies, by the digital transition.
Yeah, so certainly technology is one of the most important parts. And if you see, it's a very common narrative amongst economists that the improvements in technology would allow increases in productivity, so we'll be able to do things with less effort, so working fewer hours. That narrative exists over 100 years ago, and even now, if you see the president, the CEO of JP Morgan, that said the next generation of workers will work 3.5 days. Bill Gates said that the next generation will work only 3 days. So this is very common. So we think about ChatGPT as increasing productivity will free up work. But then the thing, it's always in the future. And I think the changes that we already have been dramatic. The changes that we currently have, for example, with artificial intelligence, really have a much bigger impact. So I think it's the right time to make that change.
But about these changes, there is also the awareness by the new generations to creating a balance between work and private life. This model seems to meet these needs.
Yeah, so certainly there is an element of generation, and the younger generation are much more open to the idea of the 4-day week. And also the pandemic changed a lot our view about how we have to organize work, and that we can actually organize work in a different way. But very often I hear talking about the younger generation that they don't want to work as in the old days. No, it's a very common narrative. They don't want to work as much as the previous generation. But it's really important to think that the jobs that we now have are very different from what they were 50 years ago. So I think that the new generation face a lot of challenges with the job. So I think they understand much more the pressure, especially young couples where you have both men and women working 40 hours with the same ambitions. When 50 years ago, most women were not working in the labor market, so they were at home. So it's there's been all these changes, and the younger generation understands much better this importance of work-life balance, and they know that the way we are working, it's really not sustainable.
Now, the technological advancement guarantees a simplification of work.
Yes, so it depends. There is a lot of debate, and there is in some parts of society, some people are very scared of the robots taking up the jobs. So there are some technology that substitutes some types of work, but other technology actually helps work. No, it's a tool that workers can use to make themselves more productive, and ChatGPT is one of them. So this worry about technology stealing jobs exists since the first industrial revolution, and it happened before, and we are in a period of very rapid technological development, and there is this worry. But when we look back at history, the most successful that we can call when it was most successful implemented, this technological progress and adoption was always accompanied with a reduction of the working time. So we worked 6 days a week in the 19th century, 12 hours a day, and then we worked 6 days, 8 hours a day. And then we got the weekends. And if you see a lot of the criticisms that you hear today about the 4-day week are very much what we heard 100 years ago about the 5-day week.
And now you are working on an experimental project in Portugal. Tell me something about that.
So I was invited last year by the Portuguese government, by the Minister of Employment, to do a study on the 4-day week. So organize a pilot with companies to understand how you can actually do in practice. So we started working on this last year, and we started the pilot in June, a 6-month pilot that's just finishing now. So we have 41 companies in Portugal doing a 4-day week. 20 started before, and 21 started in June. So we followed them, we help them. So we don't give any subsidy. So we are not paying the companies to try it. We just explain them what are the benefits, and we help them doing the transition. And so far it's going very well. We have a very diverse set of companies. So, for example, we have a nursery, a kindergarten, doing a 4-day week. We have a stem cells bank, a research institute. So we have quite a different sectors, and we help them try the change to a 4-day week, and we are measuring the impact on the companies and the workers.
But the big issue is, how do you explain to company that a reduction in hours worked can bring benefits to productivity? Often the employer thinks that if you work less, you produce less. And so they may be reluctant to adopt these choices.
So the majority are clearly reluctant, a bit like they were reluctant to remote working before the pandemic, no? So they also didn't want to try. And that was the challenge. So because we were not giving any subsidy, giving money to the companies, we really had to persuade them with arguments. And how do you persuade companies is asking them what are the difficulties they are facing right now. And place the 4-day week not as another problem to have to think about, but as a possible solution to their problems. What are the problems companies are facing? Recruitment and retention of workers. Across different sectors, it's hard to recruit, it's hard to stay. Some companies have problems of absenteeism. Some companies have problems of gender imbalances. Burnout and stress is affecting a lot of companies. So it was placing the 4-day week as a solution, and then explain them how they can get those productivity gains to and these productivity gains comes from people being more rested. No, you rest more. Rest is very important. but it's more than that. So the companies that are doing the 4-day week, they use it to change the way they organize work, to change processes. So they reduce the time, the times of meetings. I'm sure a lot of people that would hear this, they think 1 hour meetings for what? They use technology more efficiently. They set up communication guides, because a lot of the time wasted in the companies are just in constant interruptions. So you want to focus, and then there's always someone asking for something. So it really forces the company to rethink how they organize work, but in a way that's very that counts. All the workers will participate in that. And I think that's the key, is that when you want to improve the company, to change process, adopt technology, usually workers are against. No, they don't want to work in a different way. But for a 4-day week, they are willing to work in a different way, so that they work together. So it's a joint effort, the management and the workers trying to figure out how they can improve processes to make it work. And that's where the benefits, where the productivity gains come from.
Free time is often underestimated, but I think, and I think you agree with me, it is also important to boost the economy.
Exactly. So this is something that firms, they don't really think about, right? But there is an effect of having, so the leisure time is not time away from the economy. No, it's when your leisure time that you travel, that you go to restaurants, that you go to theaters, to cinema. So there's a lot of industries, the leisure industries, that rely on free time. So just think about if there was a 4-day week in Europe, where would the tourists of Northern Europe go and spend their weekends, if not to the Southern Europe? So there's a lot of industries that would benefit, but that would be if we think about an implementation at the scale of the economy, right? Because the companies that are doing the 4-day week now, they are not doing because their workers are going to the restaurants more often in their free time, but that is another benefit that would come for the economy.
So, finger crossed for the 4-day week. Pedro Gomes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time.
See you. Bye.
Bye. E grazie a tutti voi per averci seguiti. Arrivederci alla prossima.